All right, and we're live doing the out and about work, all that, staying in, getting in late, blah blah blah. And you eat and you relax. It's just now 10 p.m. and I am just now getting to catching up with my Dallas Cowboys. Some of y'all could already be ahead. Basically, I'm gonna just watch a lot of stuff that's on the Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel, which they just had some stuff just uploaded an hour ago. So just an hour ago, all I'm going to be doing is watching stuff, but you guys can watch it with me if you want. Let's go Cowboys, America's team. Like, share, subscribe. And maybe you didn't watch some of the stuff that I'm about to watch. And anyway, hope you all hang out. And here we go. Which one do I want to start it with? Okay. We got let's see. A 10-minute video from 8 hours ago. Inside Cowboys training camp, 2 team takeaways. Okay. 10-minute video. We'll start. Okay, we'll start the show with that. That's fine.
Go Cowboys!
Yeah, I thought it was great work. I mean, I told you guys yesterday, part of the reason why you do this is because of the scheme looks that you get. Like, we need different looks. We need the 3-4 looks. We needed some of the things that Chris Shula and his staff do and they present. And quite honestly, they gave us some fits, and we had some communication errors. And, run game wasn't great on offense. Some of the run-through linebackers, we got to do a better job against that. But we got a bunch of work and a bunch of different looks. And so, like anything, we'll go watch the film here in a little bit, and usually it's not as bad or as good. I think, a couple of the guys stepped up, made some big plays, but there's always things to learn from. But don't lose sight of why we do this. We do this for that exact reason, to get looks that we haven't seen and different blitzes and all that stuff. And then, of course, I didn't see any of the defense.
Brian Schottenheimer, very candid when talking about Tuesday's joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams, as we're back here in Oxnard, California, with more Inside Cowboys training camp driven by Ford. Alongside Nicole Hutchison, I'm Kyle Yeomans, still getting to review the tape from Tuesday's practice. Lots of good tape, lots of not so good tape, as Brian Schottenheimer alluded to. He's not going to sugarcoat it, but there's a lot of things you can take away from that practice.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the best things you can take away is finally seeing, your star wide receiver duo and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb finally doing what, they came here to do, and that's cause problems for another opposing defense. So, you saw George Pickens catch 2 touchdowns, obviously called for penalties there. But, I mean, that was something that Brian Schottenheimer expected these refs to do. But you also got a chance to see how this offensive line fares against the Rams defensive front. That's one of the best in the NFL with guys like.
Hey, Carter, how you doing? I'm just catching up on my Cowboys.
Like Jared Verse, that came here last year and caused some problems. So, yeah, it was a good matchup. You obviously want to see more out of this run games. Needs a lot of work, but definitely some learning lessons, and hopefully they take it forward into the preseason game.
2-minute drill was good.
Yeah.
The end-of-game scenario was great. You could see both Nicole and I have talked through that on Training Camp Live on the Cowboys YouTube and social channels. But how much stock do you put into a joint practice like this? Because at the end of the day, there's still a month until game 1 against Philadelphia, September 4th. And there's still a long way to go for football, but this is really the one opportunity that fans and coaches get to see the ones against other ones.
Well, what I loved is the fact that, Shotty even said that we're being very vanilla right now. You can't even put too much stock into it, like you mentioned, just because this is a practice. You're trying to just see, how yourself fares up against somebody else. So yeah, I don't put too much stock into it, but now you get the chance to have good real live game action on Saturday. Now that's a whole different ball game.
Oh man, I see, and I think there's a lot of stock into the ones getting to play, but like you said, they're not unveiling this entire playbook quite yet, and there's going to be a long way until that entire playbook is unveiled in Week 1 against Philadelphia. So with all this being said, who stood out? Who needs to step up when we come back? Isaiah, stand back quarterback joins the show here in Oxnard as Inside Cowboys training camp rolls on from the West Coast.
Inside Cowboys training camp, presented by Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas.
Once again, alongside Nicole Hutchison, I'm Kyle Yeomans. This is Isaiah Stanback, our resident Super Bowl champion. And Isaiah.
Oh, hey, Allie. Hey, Carrie. And who else was it? Carter. Shout outs. Go Cowboys. Smash those thumbs up. Good to see y'all. I'm catching up on my Cowboys.
You were out on the practice field yesterday for the Cowboys-Rams joint practice. It's a big day to get a benchmark of certain players and how they've stacked up against other competition. Who were some of the guys that stood out?
Yeah, I spent most of my time on the defense side of the ball just because I had a lot of tension there. The number one guy that stands out to me is Shamar James. Shamar James was obviously rookie linebacker coming in fast, physical. He was able to play downhill, fill a lot of the gaps. LA was not able to have any running lanes, but that was a guy who stood out for me. And then on the special team side, I know it's not the fancy one, but Brian Anger. Brian Anger, you look like the Brian Anger from a couple years ago that was all pro. Everything that touched his foot seemingly was over 60 yards and placed well. That's going to pay huge dividends for the special teams unit.
Shamar James has earned some first-team reps throughout the weeks have gone through camp here in Oxnard. But talk about some of the other guys in that linebacker room who kind of stood out to you.
Yeah, Jack Sanborn. Obviously, he was another guy that was in there at the same time. Maris Leafau. Those guys were all running around. They all have really good size. They possess a lot of athletic ability. But the thing that stuck out to me was their ability to read the plays. They were reading the plays. You could tell that they're high intellect type of guys. Their fits were good in terms of what placement they were in to help their teammates when it comes down to tackling time. I just thought that they worked well as a unit.
Sometimes saying a rookie is standing out and saying a special teamer is standing out is a good thing. This might not have been a great thing overall. Even Brian Schottenheimer very open about how he expects this team to get better after Tuesday's joint practice. What are some of the areas that you're looking at to take a step forward if you are this Cowboys coaching staff?
I mean, we're hearing a lot of it from these coaches, especially following the scrimmage, pad level, missed assignments, playing with their leverage, just working as a unit, especially when you start talking about the offensive and defensive lines. You have to be able to work as a unit to be effective. So those are some of the things that I'm looking for. Obviously, we won't know from the media side if there's mental errors or not a lot of times, but in terms of them working collectively as a unit, pad levels when it comes down to the actual games, getting guys down to the ground, and then just continue to have this high effort flying around to the ball and just doing the best that they can.
One of the good things is a lot of the elements that they're trying to fix are fixable elements, right? They're going to be able to make some changes and make some adjustments as they get ready for that first preseason game on Saturday. Isaiah will be on the call for that one,
Yes.
CBS 11 in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Can't wait to see that one, and we'll hear from Isaiah throughout the week. When we come back, of course, there's a lot more going on here in training camp, including some injury updates. Is Joe Milton going to be available for Saturday's matchup against the Rams? Oxnard as the Cowboys get ready for their first preseason matchup with the Rams on Saturday. Couple practices in between now and then, but as we look forward, there's always going to be an injury update, and here's one that Cowboys fans have a little extra vested interest in because he's going to play a lot on Saturday, and that's Joe Milton as the backup quarterback. Suffered a thumb injury in Tuesday's joint practice with the Rams. What are you hearing about his availability going into the preseason?
Yeah, well, Brian Schottenheimer obviously said that, you can expect him to play, that he's doing fine. So obviously expect him to see him on Saturday suiting up. But something that, I talked to Coach Shimko about him and just, Joe Milton's area of growth and improvement over the last couple of weeks. And he said that it's the way that he's approaching the game a little bit better. He's coming in and playing every practice like it's a game. And that was something that he always told him that, it was not a downfall, but one of his.
Did I just get a donation from Allie? Did I just get a donation from you too? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. DB just sent one as well. DB and Allie. Big, huge ups. Can I talk to you after the show or something? All right, let me get back to the show. Thank you. Yeah, go Cowboys. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. I just didn't want to overdo it because I got a lot to catch up on here. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Weaknesses, right? And in terms of his footwork has improved a little bit. His reads, him kind of checking down his reads, has improved in his eyes. So yeah, I mean, he's taken the steps that he needs to, but certainly expect to see some more growth out of Joe Milton.
Yeah, he left practice Tuesday, did not return, and we was still out there, never went to the locker room, never had to get taped up or anything on the thumb is what the injury was on. So hearing that he's available Saturday is huge, because how much is he needing to be out there for his own good?
Yeah, I mean, you need all the reps you can get. You need all the tape you can put on yourself, and especially with a guy like Will Greer, who came in and filled in his shoes yesterday, or actually on prep practice, training camp live, and played very well. So certainly he needs the tape, and I think he'll be fine.
And you can check out all those training camp live coverages on DallasCowboys.com, the Cowboys Now app, and on the Cowboys social channels. We've got more coverage coming from training camp starting tomorrow. For Nicole Hutchison, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle.
Okay. That was just a quickie from the other day. So now is when I get into the good stuff. We got Training Camp Live testing the limits. This was uploaded 2 hours ago. 24 minutes from, of course, Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel. All right, so let me click on this and get to it.
Hope you enjoyed some extra training camp live on Tuesday. We are back for Thursday's practice here in Oxnard, California, presented by American Airlines. He's Tommy Yarish. I'm Kyle Yeomans. We've got some red zone drills coming up very, very soon. Let's get to the field early on in practice. We've seen a lot of run offense, getting that rushing game going early. Here are the ones going with Dak Prescott back behind center. And they go right back to the ground. An opportunity for Javonte Williams. We've seen a lot of Jaden Blue, a lot of Phil Maffa. It's been fun to watch the ground game and the physicality here in the early portions.
Yeah, a chance for these younger guys to get some more reps with Miles Sanders still being sidelined. So, you mentioned Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa, a guy that Brian Schottenheimer has had nothing but effusive praise for. That time, Javonte Williams takes advantage, just like Sanborn might have tripped over himself there, the linebacker. And that allowed.
Did somebody say the Cowboys ain't going anywhere? Guess where you're going? You're going to the timeout room, buddy. Go Cowboys and F your team.
Javonte Williams to get a little bit more than initially you probably would have thought, but overall, the Cowboys struggled yesterday, on a Tuesday, I should say, against the Rams to establish the run, and so far in these drills, they're kind of having the same problem.
You also get a chance to see this offensive line. Johnny Cornelius getting tangled up with a defensive tackle there. Jaden Blue is down behind the line of scrimmage. Still.
Bad time for an ad. Bad time for a fucking ad. What the fuck? So I guess right here's the
on his hindquarters.
The Jaden Blue injury. Okay. I heard there was 2 injuries today. Jaden Blue, running back Jaden Blue, and then our tight end, Jake Ferguson.
And has yet to get up.
That's the last thing you want to see. Jaden Blue has been playing so well. He's a guy this team is counting on.
And he's still down as the training staff is attending to him. They turn down the music for injuries like that.
I mean, the only reason it would be good, I mean, we don't want any injuries. We got a handful of running backs. We got 1 million running backs. So, yeah, we are at, if there was one position we could lose players, it's that running back. But yeah, this is our speedy guy that we just drafted, and we don't want him injured. Yeah, this is a damn shame.
Where a guy remains on the field. They've turned down the music. They've moved the ball up a little bit to keep the drill going, but he is up and walking back behind.
Yeah, obviously hope that Jaden's okay, and there's something that they can shake off and get back onto the field pretty quickly.
Especially with a big week ahead. Here's a rollout from Joe Milton. He'll throw on the run. Ryan finds Ryan Flanoy, and then it gets poked out almost.
You got to hold on to that ball, buddy. Did he drop it or did it get knocked out? Do I need to rewind it there? Yeah, did he drop it or did he get knocked out? Let me see this.
Yeah, obviously hope that Jaden's okay and just something that they can shake off and get back onto the field pretty quickly.
Especially with a big week ahead. Here's a rollout from Joe Milton. He'll throw on the run. Ryan finds Ryan Flanoy, and then it gets poked out almost immediately. Not sure if he made a football move to keep control or not. Either way, that ball jarred free. Good play from the defensive back and Mike Smith.
Yeah, hell of a play from the undrafted free agent, Mike Smith. You know, we haven't said his name a lot here at camp. That's really the first time that he's come through and flashed. And so, you know, if you're going to do that and leave an impression, this is the week that you want to do it, right? This is the time that you want to do it and be able to make a name for yourself going into these preseason reps.
It might have been Clark. I actually couldn't get a good look. They have the jersey rolled up. It's either 38 or 30.
Kerry, they will have when it's all said and done, they will have a 53-man roster, 53. Training camp right now, Fubar says 52. Yeah, there you go, whatever. But yeah, right now there might be 80 players, but they're all going to get canned. Some will go to the practice squad, blah, 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 yeah. But you'll see, you'll learn that when they start playing the game, there'll be 11 of each team on the field. 11 on offense, 11 on defense.
I think that was Mike Smith. It was 39.
It was, okay. I'll believe you. Both Clark and Smith, undrafted free agents, and both have flashed at times. But like you said, for the most part, they've been in the back end of the depth chart at the safety position. Now there's another offensive player down right at the line of scrimmage. That's Dakota Shepley. Shepley, the 30-year-old out of Canada. Spent a couple years here with the Cowboys on that offensive line, mostly with the practice squad. And now he's down following this run drill.
Yeah, this is that's a position that the Cowboys have been banged up in, is the offensive line. So, you know, that position and cornerback, really the two spots that you don't want to lose a lot of bodies just because they're already thin in that room. And so, you know, with him and Jaden Blue, obviously you hope that there's not too much to be concerned about there.
So Milton moving closer. They're starting at the 15-yard line here. Motioning Jalen Cropper behind the line as Cropper takes the handoff from Joe Milton. We've talked about cross-training these players, guys like Turpin, guys like Cropper now getting some decent reps at the running back spot.
Yeah, and Jalen Cropper's a guy who has done really well in training camp before. And so, you know, now it's just all about getting into the season and doing the same things, right, when you get those on-field opportunities. Hasn't had a lot of them, but nonetheless.
All right, now we move into a little bit of red zone work here for the Dallas Cowboys in the first team offense. Dak Prescott back behind center as they start actually just outside the red zone. They started at the 30-yard line, and then it was a quick completion to Javonte Williams that started the drill. And now it's an opportunity.
What's up, Mike? F your team, buddy. F your team. But good to see you otherwise.
From the 23-yard line, 24-yard line for Dak. Out of the shotgun, quick completion in the flat to Jalen Cropper. Cropper turns upfield. They called him down after a first down right around that 15-yard line.
Yeah, again, Jalen Cropper, a guy who's done so much in training camp for the Cowboys, but you got to put it together in the preseason so you get those on-field opportunities in the regular season. With how deep this Cowboys wide receiver room is, too, that becomes all the more important.
Did see an update. Jaden Blue was carted into the tent. Has not gone back to the locker room quite yet, but we saw that.
Wow. So, I mean, obviously this was hours ago, so there's probably more updates. But I'm just going by what they just said. Jaden Blue carted off the field. So if he had to get carted off the field, That's not good. That is not good. Well, we already have him signed. We already got him signed. So he's here no matter what. But anyway, as far as are we going to get him taken care of, Jerry Jones is being an asshole. Jerry Jones, he's crossing the boundaries. Needs to pay the man and not have all this back and forth, this soap opera BS. Yeah, don't need it.
An injury to start training camp live. He is now in the tent, still being attended to by the Cowboys training staff. Here's Dak directing traffic. And they may have to reset here. It's tough to communicate down here. This music is a little extra loud at this point in the practice field because you've got the speaker right at the end zone where they're going into it. I'm sure that's by design, trying to keep the noise up at this point in practice. Here's Blue with Lipke outside the line of scrimmage. Luke Schoonmaker in there as well. Play action. Turn back. There's CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to take off. He's got blockers in front. And Lamb, they'll call him down inside the 5. Not sure if that was designed, that misdirection all the way through, but it worked out because nobody was on the left side of the field covering 88.
Yeah, no, that's never going to end very well for opposing defenses, or in this case, the Cowboys defense, just because of how good CeeDee Lamb is after the catch.
All right, on we go. The second team now taking some snaps after CeeDee Lamb had that big, long touchdown grab early. Now it's Joe Milton out there with a couple of guys that have been on the Cowboys recently, Turpin and Brooks, some veterans out of this Cowboys offense. They go to the ground with Phil Maffa.
Yeah, Phil Maffa going to be a guy that in this practice is probably going to get some more run. We just saw Jaden Blue get carted to the injury tent initially and then walked off the field and into the Cowboys back area towards the locker room under his own power, so that's a good sign. But nonetheless, this is
I hate when they do this. They just said he was carted off. Now they're saying he walked off on his own power. Which one is it? Which one is it? Or did they cart him to one area, then he walked to another area on his own? Anyway, we know the guy's injured. I swear they just said both of them, though. What's up, Eric?
Team that's playing 2 days from now.
Hey, bro, do you got any more news on Blue? You got any news on Blue and Fergie first? Let us know.
So that's going to be a player that they certainly wanted to get some snaps in game action and obviously hope that Jaden's okay.
Now a rotation of guys on the defensive side as well. Guys like Tyrus Wheat, Marshawn Nealon, Keemon Hall, as Hall covers Turpin here. That'll be a fun rep. Milton lofts it up, back of the end zone, looking for Jalen Cropper, who can't get there. It was Israel Mukwamu who was covering.
Yeah, that was from Joe Milton. That time it was just throw it up and hope that Cropper can beat his man there. Not a terrible place to put that ball right along the back of the end zone so that only your receiver can get it. Your corner's going to have to make a really tough play if they want to pick that off. And more of a kind of a throwaway there where it's not really a high risk throw because of where that ball is placed. And Cropper just couldn't get under it.
So they'll reset the ball for the first teamers at the 24-yard line. They move it back a little bit. First team offense out there. We'll see how many of these guys actually play on Saturday. Brian Schottenheimer, non-committal when it comes to starters playing in the preseason. Said there's an opportunity to maybe see some, but for the most part, you'll see a lot of the young guys get those reps. So these are quality reps for the guys at the top of the depth chart. Mingo's in the formation out wide. Play action to Williams. Over the middle, wide open, Luke Schoonmaker. One man to beat. It's Donovan Wilson. I think the power from Schoonmaker may have pushed him into the end zone there.
Yeah, if that's a real game setting, that's going to score too. He was wide open across the middle. Looks like the Cowboys defense got caught in their zone concept and somebody missed their assignment here on the near side of the field towards us. Schoonmaker was could have walked into the end zone. Now he just had nobody in front of him except for Wilson, who closed late.
And even that late closing, like you said, if the physicality's there from Schoonmaker, he's going to push toward the goal line. You want to see a big year from Luke Schoonmaker. Good to see him have some success with the first team. Williams remains in with Tolbert and Lamb. Ferguson to the near side. Low snap to Dak. Pressure off the edge from Nealon. Threw it in the ground and in. Jake Ferguson down.
Oh, man. That was a tough
Here's the
blindside hit.
Is this the other injury? Let me see. Let me rewind here. See what happened. Oh, shit.
He's going to push toward the goal line. You want to see a big year from Luke Schoonmaker. Good to see him have some success with the first team. Williams remains in with Tolbert and Lamb. Ferguson to the near side. Low snap to Dak. Pressure off the edge from Nealon. Threw it in the ground and in. Jake Ferguson down.
Oh, man. That was a tough blindside hit from Kenneth Murray, and he knew it immediately.
Yeah, the entire defense quickly over to check on Ferguson. And he went down quick at the goal line. All right, so Jake Ferguson able to walk off on his own power. It looks like he'll make his way behind the team drill. We'll see how quickly he's checked up on by the staff.
That's good. He just got fucking racked. He's okay. But Blue, on the other hand, could be different. And can I delete that comment? I think Shotty's been doing great.
And if he's able to return, definitely a scary moment at the goal line for the new $52 million man. Similar formation here for the first team. Guys like CeeDee Lamb and Kavontae Turpin. So they put Lamb in motion. They fake it to Lipke. Here's Schoonmaker on the edge. Nice thud there from Marquise Bell as he's pushed out of bounds at the 1.
And good job from Bell to keep him out of the end zone there and, escort him to the sideline as quickly as he could. But good stuff here from the Cowboys offense, right? Every yard is going to matter in this area. And you want to just set yourself up as close as possible. And now let's see if they maybe try to lean on the run game a little bit here and try to punch this in that way. You got Lipke lined up to the right of Dak.
The situation is 3rd down and goal from the 2, so they need to score here in order to continue the drill for the offense, or at least the first team offense. Here goes Schoonmaker. Works in motion to the inside of CeeDee Lamb. Dak, left side. There's Turpin open on the goal line, and that one would be 6.
Yep, wide open.
I got a text here. Let me rewatch that real quick. I lost my spot.
It's in motion to the inside of CeeDee Lamb. Dak, left side. There's Turpin open on the goal.
Yeah, wide open. Let me say hello over here. What's going on? Uncle Charles in the house. What's up, y'all? Go Cowboys! I don't understand the rest of that. Is that college talk? Anyway, go Cowboys. I got that part down. They're playing sports. None of them are. All right, here we go.
Line, and that one would be 6.
Yep, wide open that time again. And, again, in that zone concept, guys just being caught off of their assignments. Looked like Wanye Thomas was playing a little bit too inside that time, and that allowed Turpin to just go out quickly. And, when he's got a little bit of space to work with, it doesn't take a lot to get him the ball because he's going to be able to separate.
Second team back out. Brock Hoffman, Ajani Cornelius, Jalen Brooks, John Stevens in the huddle with Joe Milton. Good to see Joe Milton back. He injured that thumb on Tuesday against the Rams, was unable to finish practice, but just as Coach Schottenheimer alluded to, you got to see him available for Saturday. There's a catch to Holden in the middle of the defense, and he walks in.
Yeah, Trayshawn Holden this past week has really been his best so far here at Cowboys camp. I think that's his 4th touchdown in the last couple of practices. this is a guy as an undrafted free agent that didn't get a big signing bonus necessarily. And, sometimes that's indicative, but he's made some plays, man. He's made some plays. He's in a familiar spot with Junior Adams as collegiate wide receivers coach, and it seems like he's very comfortable in this offense right now.
Originally walked up to the line of scrimmage with a play call, but they have to retreat back and clarify the call. Actually move the ball up a little bit here on the drill as well. How much are fans going to see of Joe Milton during this week of gameplay and practice now that he's back and healthy?
Oh, a lot of it, because right now he's your backup quarterback, and he's only in his second year in the NFL. He's played one NFL game, and so you think about Cooper Rush and all the time that he spent in Dallas. He had so many games under his belt, and now you're getting the complete inverse of that in Joe Milton. So as many reps as he can get in the preseason and right now in practice, it's going to be vital for his career. That's a nice play there from Elijah Clark.
Yeah, Clark over the top of Jalen Brooks. That ball right at the ground. Brooks had to go down to the ground to have a shot at it. Taking a look at this second team defense, some big names out there that are looking for starting spots like McQuamu, Wheat, even Perrion Winfrey in the defensive formation. As Milton checks at the line of scrimmage, he's showing more confidence in his line calls prior to the snap. Phil Maffa now flips sides. And now they're going to reset.
Yeah, that's a couple of times that the Cowboys have had to reset at the line of scrimmage. I know they're not afraid to do it, but at this point in camp, for it to happen.
What are you talking about, Amari? I just heard Amari retired. He could totally still play for a lot of teams. Hell, I would take him on the Cowboys right now. How you doing, vet? It's almost football time. It'd be a costly trade. A very costly trade, yeah. But thank you for Pickens. Thank you for giving us Pickens.
As many times as it has, you're going to want to see less of this as time goes on.
You're talking Cooper Rush, okay?
Sometimes it's a check by the coaching staff. They want to check that the call's right, that's been relayed the right way, that Milton was able to portray that to the guys. It's like a progress report. That one passes the progress report. Nice throw from Milton to Brooks in the back corner.
And to clarify, those checks are necessary, right? And more of my point is in a game setting, you're probably not going to be able to do that most times. So you want to be able to make those checks, have your quarterback be able to make those checks, and then make plays like that. It's a great ball from Joe Milton to the back of the end zone to Jalen Brooks.
You know what? I've talked to a few Steeler fans. Change the scenery has really helped him out. He's got quarterbacks here. He's got CeeDee Lamb here. CeeDee Lamb has been buddying up to him, and everything's been great. He's been an A+ all across the board, man. No problems at all. He's going to do great for us. What, Billy? You're fired. You're fired, dude. You don't know where? The Star, dude. The Star. Just kidding. They're out in California, man, like they always do. Out in Cali, man. Like they go out there every year, man.
So now flipping field, Dak Prescott and the ones back out here for some extra team drills. Oh, he got somebody to jump offside. Osa Odigizua creating the free play.
Would have been a free play, and Donovan Wilson got the coulda, shoulda, woulda been interception. But yeah, that's just do that over.
A lot of those they just want to blow dead because they don't want to waste the play call. They want to get right back up to the line and either do it again or not.
Also, Digizua looks like his punishment was some push-ups after that, and now he's off on this rep.
Just a quick update, though. Earlier in Training Camp Live, we saw Jake Ferguson walk off to the side and take an injury timeout. He went back into the drill. He was back in the formation following the injury timeout as this one's completed the Lamb, but then now has walked off to the injury tent, and he is being evaluated by the Cowboys training staff. So at least a good sign to see him back in the drill, but then he turns right back around and he's now back being evaluated.
And he just got taken back to the Cowboys locker room too. So that's Jake Ferguson and Jaden Blue in the same practice. Obviously 2 players that are going to play vital roles for the Cowboys this season. So you obviously hope that they're okay. Ferguson looked like he popped back up and would have been good, but his head kind of snapped back pretty quick. So if it's a concussion in the NFL, I don't want to theorize or anything like that, but they're going to thoroughly look through that kind of stuff nowadays.
Well, the good thing is he doesn't need to be ready for this weekend, whereas Jaden Blue may have needed to be ready for this weekend, as this one's complete underneath to Luke Schoonmaker.
Marshawn Nealon did a good job there at collapsing the pocket, and they blew that play dead. I think they would have given him the sack there. Nealon's had a really good day today. He had a couple of reps earlier that we saw where he
Hey, Brett, how you doing? Raiders suck.
was getting in the backfield and collapsing the pocket a little bit on Dak Prescott. So he's a guy that kind of started out really strong here in Oxnard and somewhat quiet down a little bit, but now today back out there and just got a sack there.
Brock Hoffman, second team offense back up there. Joe Milton goes under center. Defense showing some pressure. Play action, bootleg, and there goes Milton. He'll throw on the run behind his target. And this one incomplete. Good opportunity for Fairweather to make a grab, but man, he was hit immediately.
Yeah, Shamar James, the rookie linebacker out of Florida. We've seen him get some run with the 1s in the last couple of practices. Here with the 2s, it's a good job of punching that ball free and not giving Fairweather a chance to reel it in. The pass a little bit behind him, and then that bobble is what ultimately caused James to close in and punch it free.
Those 2 may have had a collision or 2 before. James coming from Florida as a rookie, Rivaldo Fairweather coming from Auburn as a rookie. A little SEC action between the 2 first-year players. Once again, play action. Milton with plenty of time here. Looking for Ryan Flanoy. No, it falls incomplete. Flanoy actually kept it off the ground, but he was out of bounds.
Yeah, that rule of cool says that's a catch, but unfortunately the NFL doesn't abide by that. Good job from Flanoy.
I want to know what a pass rush was. The guy had way too much time to throw that ball. Almost a great catch, almost.
Just concentrating through the end of that play, right? Collapse into double coverage. Maris Leafau was closing in front of him pretty quickly and still able to find a way to hold on to that football, albeit out of bounds. So not going to count, but nonetheless, you'll take that as a wide receiver.
Well, and I like the throw from Joe Milton, too. That was double coverage, and he dropped it in only the spot where his wide receiver could get it. Screen to Cavante Turpin. Turpin trying to turn upfield. He's met quickly.
Yeah, that time Cavante Turpin's put your foot in the ground and hit the spin move the other way. Didn't work as well as it did in Washington last year, but it's all right. It's not going to work that way all the time. They just got him on the quick tunnel screen. Didn't really have great blocking downfield. They got closed on pretty quickly there.
A lot of fun play action, a lot of good looks in the passing game during this drill. Lots of reps for these 2s as well. And again, Milton back in the shotgun. Pressure from Wheat. Goes underneath to Phil Maffa, touched up by both Hall and Clark before he could get to the second level.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the injury to Jaden Blue and obviously hoping that he's okay, but Maffa's got a shot here now to prove himself in these snaps that you're going to see, not just in this practice, but throughout the preseason. And Brian Schottenheimer really likes what he's got in this kid from Clemson. Out of all the
I just noticed 58 Mozzie Smith out there. I haven't heard nothing about his injury, but there he is. Wow, it would have been nice that somebody would have gave an update on him. Maybe some people did, but I haven't seen no updates on it at all on him. But there he is right there, number 58. Fuck yeah.
running backs in the room, he is certainly the stockiest just in terms of pure size. I mean, he's a massive human being. So you combine that with the fact that they've got some smaller guys around him, and maybe he carves out a role for himself just because of how he's built.
Javonte Williams is the tailback, straight behind Dak Prescott with Schoonmaker to the left, Pickens outside as well. CD is to the far side as the ones take over. Play action, Prescott. Good block from Cooper Beebe to keep Ezeraku off his hip pocket, and it allows for the completion to CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, that's why the Cowboys invested in their offensive line. When you give Dak Prescott that much time, and he's got...
That was nice. that's that it doesn't matter the team or anything. People get injured. Always happens. All teams, all players, people get injured. Preseason, training camp, all this stuff, practice, injuries happen. Part of the game.
The array of receivers that he's got around him, he's going to be able to make plays down the field for you. And there you see Cooper Beebe come pulling back to stop Ezeraku, who was closing in fast. It's a good rep from Ezeraku, but better job by the second-year center of keeping Prescott up, giving him a clean pocket, and allowing him to step into the throw.
One of the elements Ezeraku was missing in that joint practice with the Rams Tuesday were the extra moves, not just the bull rush. We've seen those extra pass rush moves today as he goes up against Nate Thomas here. Prescott to Williams in the flat. Look at the block out front from TJ Bass on Mozzie Smith. He took Mozzie for a ride all the way out to the 45.
Yeah, that was a good rep there from Javonte Williams, who had a pretty solid scrimmage at times in what was a very hard day for the Cowboys offense as a whole running the football. I think he had the best run of the day. You know, you only single out maybe 3 or 4 good runs from the Cowboys the other day against the Rams, but Williams certainly had the best one, found the gap, hit it hard, and was able to turn upfield. And that time you see what he can do in the receiving game. Remember his rookie season in Denver, he's a pretty solid receiver for the Broncos out of the backfield. Now, if he gets the early reps in Dallas, let's see if he can do the same.
Belt tie snap for Prescott. Protection broke down. Osa Odigizua was quickly in the backfield, but he does complete it to Lipke on the far side.
Yeah, we just talked about how Cooper Beebe had a great rep a couple of plays ago. That time he kind of got thrown back by Osa Odigizua, collapsed the pocket and got to Dak Prescott for a would-be sack. That's a heck of a play, man. That's why they paid him the big bucks to stick around in the middle of this defense.
Couple more reps here as we wrap up training camp live, presented by American Airlines. TJ Bass getting these left guard reps. No Tyler Smith in the fold for this drill. Smith has been in and out of the lineup throughout practice today. It's off to the side currently.
Yeah, that's just to manage his workload and really just more maintenance. We asked Brian Schottenheimer about that the other day. Shouldn't be anything terribly concerning, just making sure that he's in good shape, because obviously they're going to need him in week 1 against Philadelphia.
Some new names on the defense. Pride Childress, along with Rochelle out there, along with the first team defense. Prescott quickly had to get rid of it. It's tipped in the air by Turpin, and he finds it.
There you
right
go.
In front of Marquise Bell. Thank you very much. Look what I found.
Yeah, Marquise Bell just didn't turn to see that the ball was hanging in the air. He was worried about tackling Turpin and making sure that he got down, and so didn't see it hanging up there, and then Turpin with the good concentration to be able to find it and reel it in.
So we'll go ahead and wrap things up here on Training Camp Live, presented.
All right. I think I got a couple more videos. Special edition, the Southern California Showdown, 20-minute video from 2 hours ago. So, yeah. I'm catching up with my Cowboys. Thank you all for being here. Like, share, subscribe. Cool Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Training Camp 2025 rolls on the West Coast as we welcome you to Oxnard, California, and another episode of Special Edition from the training camp facility for your Dallas Cowboys, alongside Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. As you can see there, the fans excited this week. Lots to learn about this Cowboys team as they're now 3 weeks down into training camp, and a lot has happened since we were last on the air a week ago, including a lot of Micah Parsons talk as that contract dispute continues between Parsons and the front office. Nate, I'll start with you. We heard a lot from Micah Parsons, from the front office. What were your thoughts on how that whole situation unfolded throughout the week?
I hoped well for Michael Parsons. We worked for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to get deep into that. It's above my pay grade. He's chronicled well what he thinks about this situation. Mr. Jones have come back and said what he had to say. I stay out of players' contracts. Isaiah, you may have more to say.
No, I mean this is negotiating. This is the way in which negotiations go down in 2025. You have ownership that is going to stand by the current contract that is in place, which states that Michael Parsons has another year left on his contract, and that they'll figure everything else out in their timing. And then you have the player who feel like they've kind of outperformed their current contract and they want an extension. They want to be paid at the top of their position. So what do you?
Speaking of paying, it's like Jerry Jones will never learn. He does this every damn time. He does it every time and ends up having to overpay. He did it with Dak. He countless players. Hello there. Oh, the whole that Niner fan and the TTC and you. It's hilarious, man. It's so funny. Oh, man. Thanks for Pickens, dude.
You do. You use social media, you use the media, you use the fans to your advantage. This is all chess pieces moving around. These guys both have a high regard and high respect for each other. It will get taken care of, but in whose timing, that's what we have to wait and see.
And, of course, it all really hit the light of day a little more so when Micah Parsons officially requested a trade with Stephen Jones and then releasing the statement that he did on X. Here are some of the top average per year earnings for edge rushers throughout NFL history. A lot of these are current contracts or new signings, such as TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, that both signed new deals this offseason. Micah Parsons hoping to be a part of this fold.
Yeah, they signed new deals. So maybe if we would have signed them first, maybe we could have paid them, 36 or 37 or 38 or 39. Now we're going to be yeah.
Really right around that $40 million per year mark. Here's what Jerry Jones had to say earlier in the week when talking about the situation with Micah Parsons that continues to unfold.
I think the world of Micah. He's an outstanding player. He can really help us, but he's got to fit in with what's in the best interest of the team, and that's what the negotiation's all about. We've got an agreement. Now, if we're going to adjust that agreement, then he's a must and I'm a must. Okay, not the organization. I'm a must in this case. And so I do these very significant ones. And so it's very important that if we're going to change the contract that we've got right now, which this would, then that I agree to what we've changed. That's why it was so good when we sat down together and spent a lot of time going back and forth and adjusting, and we had that exercise together. What y'all don't know is what I offered him. And it's a hell of a lot more than you think I did.
And as you can see, Micah Parsons with plenty of production through his first 4 seasons in the NFL, one of the all-time greats through his first 4 campaigns, top 5 all-time in sacks, and that's without missing that's with missing a 4-game stretch in 2024. Nate, if he's not a part of this team, which hopefully that's not the case, he continues forward, what would be your thought about how they replace that production?
You can't, but you got Dante Fowler that you signed during the offseason, bring him in, and then we got Sam Williams coming off injury. We're going to ask a lot from him and a young rookie. Donovan, number 41, Donovan. Thank you. We're asking for a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to Nate's point, you can't replace what Micah Parsons' void would be causing, but the reality is you have some guys that can go get after the quarterback. You have Dante Fowler Jr., who's coming off of his second best season of his career after going and having a 1-year stint with Dan Quinn in Washington. He had 10.5 sacks. So you have somebody who's playing really the best ball of their career. And then you have Sam Williams, who's hungry. He's really playing to prove that he's worth getting another contract because he hasn't been on the field much. And then Donovan Ezeraku, he's inexperienced in the NFL, but he's a young gun who's getting mentored by Micah Parsons. Hopefully we get a chance to see both of those guys on the field collectively together. But if they don't, all these guys will be ready for the opportunity.
And there was a lot of opportunity for those guys to step up and take some extra reps this week, including a joint practice on Tuesday as Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams came to Oxnard. When we come back, we outline who looked good throughout those practices and what the Cowboys could learn from that joint matchup with the Rams. As we welcome you back into Special Edition from Oxnard, California. I want to get right into it, gentlemen. Isaiah, Nate, you were both there in attendance as it was really the only opportunity to see the first-teamers versus other first-teamers throughout this early portion of the preseason. What were your thoughts on how they performed against the Rams?
My initial thoughts aren't that great, Kyle. It's something that you'll hear some of these coaches talk about whenever they refer to this joint practice, and it's a pad level. Both offensive line and the defensive line pad level are entirely too high. How does that play against you? O-line, you're going to get pushed back because the defensive linemen are getting underneath you, so you can't have leverage. You can't protect the pocket. You can't drive nobody off the ball in the run game. On the defensive side of the ball, you can't get a pass rush if you're playing up high. These offensive linemen will play patty cake on your chest all day long, and there was no pass rush. So those are the two of the things that really stood out for me that they have to get corrected.
I think it's the sharpness and the physicalness of what the Rams brought. And now once you see this as a young team, as a team that has a lot of different players coming in and out of your lineup, the sharpness, the technical soundness that they had as a defensive line and as an offensive line should bode well for our young guys.
That's a lot of things they can learn from it. We did see a couple of big-time plays on both sides.
It's like when you hear them saying all that, it's like, does that mean our coaches suck? Or are we getting an excuse that we just have younger players? That's why. Well, what about the Rams? I don't know. Hope they better get it together. We fucking play Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Time to rock and roll. Learn fast.
To the football, let's stick with the Cowboys positively. What play stood out to you as the best play of that practice Tuesday?
Well, somebody who considered themselves to have a cannon of an arm back when they played the quarterback position. I had past tense. I used the past tense. Joe Milton to big Jalen Brooks. That was an absolute bomb. Big, deep pass down the center of their field. About 75 yards in the air, effortlessly thrown by Milton. Whenever he has a pocket and he has time, these guys are getting open, winning their matchups, and he delivered a nice shot down the field for a big play.
I like the way Will Grill scrambled out to the right side and threw a nice one to Turpin, and Turpin just turned on his feet, one move, and boom, he was in the end zone. So that was a nice play by Will Grill.
Yeah, those are a couple of guys fighting for that wide receiver 3 or 4 spot on the roster. Brooks reeling it in for Milton, and then, of course, Devontae Turpin's had a great camp so far. That was a big find for this Cowboys front office. We'll sit down with one of the members of that front office when we come back with more Special Edition. Stephen Jones sits down with Nick Eatman.
This segment was brought Man of the Year, presented by
year. But obviously, there's been a lot of talk. I know you're probably tired of it with the Micah Parsons stuff there. Since we last talked to you, there's been a trade request on your end. Is that
Leo? Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. Yep, unfortunately.
Change anything? Has anything changed on your front?
You know, Nick, that's just the nature of negotiations. I think any player that's holding out for a contract right now, I think I've read around the league where they've all requested to be traded. So that's part of it. We have no intention of trading Micah. He's right here in camp, and we'll just keep working. I mean, this is how these things work.
I think if I were to ask you which positions you might be concerned about, you probably wouldn't reveal that. But are there would okay? Well, what are some of those? I was seeing is there some places where there's still questions to answer.
Yeah, I still think the corner position, only because you look at what's on injured reserve. We've got 3 corners over there, an NFI and 2 PUPs. That we're expecting to play for us this year. So. Certainly Kyer, we expect to play for us this year, but some other guys are getting opportunities. But, with them not ready to go yet, you certainly think about that in terms of, improving there if we get the opportunity to do it. I think, a guy like a Booth and Pride are doing a good job out there, but I certainly think that's a place where, we got our fingers crossed a little bit but between Diggs and Revel and Butler, that we get those guys back in the mix. And then, you never know what's going to be out there that we can get our hands on. And then, I think, the big defensive tackle there with Mozzie and Jay are doing a really good job. But still, you want to see it live because, that position in there in the trenches, you really don't get a great feel for it till you're really tackling to the ground and you're playing in a football game. But, I do have a lot of confidence both those guys are going to step up for us.
Last one, and you mentioned Shoddy earlier, but I know I've asked you this before, but now we're into week 3, and is there just more things that you're seeing from him and his staff that just it seemed like there's so much energy, but you're getting excited more and more just by getting to work with them?
Well, the biggest thing is there's no let up in the energy, which to me shows it's authentic. I mean, it's consistent day in and day out, which, when you're in the grind of a training camp, and here we are into week 3, you just don't see any lack of enthusiasm or energy. And it rubs off on the players because this is kind of, if you will, the hump part of camp where you're getting through it. Of course, we got this week, and then we'll finish up, through the end of next week. And I'm sure people are going to have their eyes on going back to Dallas and getting back to the Star. And that means the season's right around the corner. But, the biggest thing is just his enthusiasm and how, it's relentless and so authentic, and they never let up. And I think that's a huge plus for our team, our players, our coaching staff, and certainly hats off to Coach Schottenheimer for pulling that off.
Plenty of conversation about the defense with Cowboys COO Stephen Jones. Matt Eberflus has taken over this Cowboys defense. How are they looking out on the West Coast here in Oxnard?
This segment was brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by.
What's that? Dude, what you do? Lose your chain?
Well, when?
Yesterday.
No, my tooth.
I be on the 12
came out.
With the dynamic?
But I went to dinner. It just kept falling out. I was like, what you felt wind on my gum.
I thought you hurt your finger because you were like this.
Different.
Hey, who is Junior in Mario Brothers? What little character? We need a little minion character for Junior. I'm pulling for the defense. I'm pulling for the defense. When it's a good day like that and you guys compete, I ain't got much to say. Malik Hooker, get us out of here, dog.
Plenty of learning lessons here for Matt Eberflus in this Cowboys defense as we welcome you back in to Training Camp 2025 and Special Edition with Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. A lot of the conversation has circled around that defensive unit. Based off of what you've seen out of practice so far, Nate, what are the strengths from the defense?
I think it's going to be the linebackers. I think it's going to be Matt Eberflus and his linebackers. Murray and all of those guys, I think they'll do a great job.
I like the linebackers as well, but I'm going to have to go to linebackers in addition to the defensive end room. I think those guys are relatively deep now. Obviously, Michael Parsons out, so the guys, Sam Williams, Dante Fowler Jr., Donovan Ezeraku, all those guys, whenever you have that much talent, you're able to rotate those guys in, not only at the D in position, but you're able to insert them at the D tackle and start messing around with the offensive line's protections.
Yeah, that back and forth in the chess match from Matt Eberflus is going to be really interesting as time goes on. Let's hear what Brian Schottenheimer thinks about this defense and who's been standing out across the whole couple weeks of practices here in Oxnard.
Donovan Wilson, I mean, just the communication. I was watching the talk through earlier and wow, just terrific. Kyrie Elam, another interception yesterday, right? I mean, he's a guy that's done it. But Malik Hooker, incredible camp, showing up every day, making plays, making communication. Talked a little bit about Marist, Troy Pride. It's actually funny. I kind of messed with the guys. We were talking about something the other day, and I said, yeah, Cable's told me that, some of you guys have been moving way too fast. You need to slow down. And all their ears kind of perked up. And I paused and I said, on the field. And then we gave out speeding tickets to the guys that had the fastest time, but based on skill, mid, like Sam had the D-line, Geit had the O-line. It was, I think, Troy Pride had the fastest time, Deuce Vaughn. So, we had some fun with it.
We can wager on that. What kind of bet do you want to do? Yeah. You name it. Because that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Not at all. Fuck Philly. I'll see you after the game.
Here are just a few of the names that Brian Schottenheimer has mentioned throughout his press conferences as defensive standouts. Of course, he's the offensive play caller. He has to deal with a lot of these guys when trying to call those plays on the offensive side of the football. I want to know what you guys have thought about defensive standouts so far. Isaiah, I'll start with you.
I like the Kyer Elam. Kyer Elam has done a good job. It's crazy because I played with his dad.
Well, you're the same person. I think I'll just hide you for a while. I just hide you since you're the same person. Bye-bye. You've gone forever. Let's like unblock you just for fun one day. We'll see. Bye-bye. The Giants will not have a better record. Not at all. Not at all. They will not. You're out of your damn mind.
Yeah, that's wild to me. But I think he's had a great opportunity, obviously coming over in the trade, but he's had a chance to step into the role with so many guys injured at that position. You know, obviously Diggs is out. Deron Bland was out for the first part. Kalen Carson. So he's really been inserted in there, and he showed up in a major way, making plays all throughout training camp.
I think Sam Williams, because I've been watching offensive line so much, it's been Sam Williams. He's been making plays, but he's going to have to, out of need, especially if our other guy Parsons don't get back on time, he's going to have to be a player for us. He's been doing a good, consistent job.
Really, you could have that conversation about both those guys. Kyer Elam, with the injuries at corner, they've needed him to step up ever since trading for him from Buffalo through the early parts of this offseason. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up on Special Edition. We've got a game we're going to play. It's a one-word answer game plus
an Apple TV. Presented by a sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Or admission is free. Learn more at dallascowboys.com/training camp. And here's the remaining Cowboys training camp preseason schedule as they spend one more week out here in Oxnard. They will fly home to Dallas on Thursday in preparation for their preseason Week 2 matchup with the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, so they're back. Okay. All right, or no? No, it's okay. This is the next week. August 19th. That was 1 week. Okay.
In Oxnard, they will fly home to Dallas on Thursday in preparation for their preseason Week 2 matchup with the Baltimore Ravens at AT&T Stadium, 6 p.m. kickoff on CBS 11, and then those two practices at the Star in Frisco. We're wrapping up Special Edition here in Oxnard. Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Let's play a little game here. This is just based off of training camp so far. I'm going to give you a topic. You give me one word and maybe a short synopsis of that one word after the fact. I'll start with you, Nate. How about fights at camp? What's the one word?
Yes. As long as you keep it physical and don't swing on a brother with a closed fist, I'm good.
It's normal. Fights at camp are normal. It happens every single camp. There's a lot of attention placed on it now, but happens all the time.
And what about the running back room and what you've seen from the Cowboys running back room so far? I'll start with you, Isaiah.
Balanced. I think their running attack is balanced right now. Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, those guys are both downhill backs. You have Kavontae Turpin rolling in there and Jaden Blue. Those are your speed scat backs. I think it's a very balanced backfield.
I want that preseason. That's what it means to me. Preseason, get in there, get in the rhythm with your offensive line preseason.
Yeah, and you may not see a whole lot of Dak in the preseason early on. How about Dak Prescott? He's the topic here. What do you think, Nate?
Keep him fresh. Keep him going. He's sprinting down the field. Keep him fresh.
I think he's determined. Dak is determined right now. He's locked in. You see him, whether it's a handoff or a pass, he's finishing 40, 50 yards down the field, trying to make sure that hammy is in the back of his mind.
All right, one more here for you. How about special teams? What's the special teams, Isaiah?
They're a weapon. They are a weapon. You have opportunity to have an all-pro kicker and an all-pro punter. Both of these guys have been that in not necessarily the same year, but I think this might be the first time they do it between Anger and Aubrey.
I had question mark because I need to see the preseason because we got those kickers and we got the returner. but who's going to be blocking and who's going to be tackling. We need to know that.
Ooh, I like that. Little in-depth answer on the one-word analysis from Nate, answering a question with a question, because we have a question about who's outside of that special teams
It actually
unit.
might be a sweep. I didn't even mention Turpin. So Turpin might be the special teamer, Aubrey, and Anger. I think you can have a clean sweep. There's an opportunity for that.
It's a great job for Nate Sorensen in his first year as special teams coordinator. Can't wait to see how they fare as the preseason rolls on. For Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, everybody else involved in our Cowboys program.
That was cool. Let's see. I'm almost caught up. I'm almost caught up. Hey, there's a couple of them, right? What was it? The Eagles. I think they were on. I don't care about that. Yeah. It's hard to watch our preseason games. I don't think there's any way in hell I could watch any other teams preseason. Hey, yeah. 7 p.m. Eastern. Scorpio, do you got any updates on Fergie or Blue? Yeah, my I'm almost done here. You do when you're bored, yeah. Or because, like I said, because hey, we haven't had football at all, so yeah. So about those injuries, let me show us. We'll show that now. Is that which one of these? Is it? Let's see. Oh no, this one. There we go. Can I go full screen real quick? Oops. I'm gonna throw on Tom Downey to end the show, and maybe see if he's got anything. And shout out to everybody. Go Cowboys. Injuries suck.
Yet another day of Cowboys training camp is in the books. Here's what's coming up as we react to what happened today. Of note, Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones, not at practice. Does it mean anything at all, or was it just weird coincidence? Jaden Blue going down. Jake Ferguson going down. That and more injury updates we'll get into for the Cowboys, and just some more quick rapid-fire training camp takeaways. Before we get into all that, we here at the Cowboys Report have more subscribers than the actual official LA Rams YouTube channel, which I think is pretty embarrassing for the LA Rams, that one dude has more subs than an actual NFL football team. So let's keep it that way. Hit that sub button, and you'll get more free Cowboys YouTube videos each.
Yeah, Scorpio, pay the man, pay the man, pay the man. Should have paid him a long time ago. Could have probably got him for a lot less.
And every single day right here on the channel, including the watch party Saturday night. So 4 players going down today. Dakota Shepley, who won't go too much into, potential high ankle sprain there. Didn't actually see what happened, but he hobbled off the field. We'll go in depth on Jaden Blue and Jake Ferguson here in just a second. Terrence Steele left and then returned to practice after, this is an eye. I think he just got poked in the eye. Another day, another long list of injuries for the Cowboys, and it's beginning to mount in a very frustrating way.
Fuck your ad. Come on.
So Jaden Blue left Thursday's practice with what certainly seemed like an ankle injury. The play happened on a face mask from one Sam Williams, who can't have mistakes like that there, Sam. And Blue got bent up after the Sam Williams face mask. Blue was carted off, then limped to the locker room, then later returned in street clothes, as you can see in this photo. No boot on the ankle, had a pretty big limp going off, but seemed like it was less bad after that. Of note, I think it's a good sign there was no boot. Stephen Jones said that he didn't think it was anything terribly severe. So that update overall is that could have been worse for Jaden Blue and for the Cowboys. They are banged up right now. They're thin in general in the backfield, but Miles Sanders, we'll come back to him later on, did not practice today. Javonte Williams, Hunter Lipke, Phil Maffa all did. Jaden Blue left with the injury. Deuce Vaughn was back in pads, but did not do any team stuff. So bit of a question mark there if he's going to be able to go in the preseason game. We don't have the actual finalized details on what the Jaden Blue injury.
Oh yeah, man. I would have had Rico 1,000-yard back. Now we got like a fucking handful of these guys, and yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it now. At least we got depth, right? Yeah.
Injury is maybe it's just a little ankle roll. I guess we can't fully rule him out for the preseason week 1, but that's now very much up in the air. So what is your concern level over the Jaden Blue injury?
Jasper.
Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end.
5.
Let's go to Jake Ferguson. Seemed like he suffered some type of, I think, a back injury. He took a forearm elbow shot within like a 5-minute span of Blue going down to like the back and like the ribs area. I think it was mostly the back from Kenneth Murray. Like it was red zone work. Dak tries to like throw it in an area where Fergie's not going to run directly into Kenneth Murray. So it's behind him. So Ferguson turns, like the ball's actually in a decent spot. And then Murray just comes through and just like keeps with the shoulder or the elbow, the forearm shiver to the back. And I'm like, just again, honestly, like you have to protect your teammates there. Like if you're Sam Williams, if you're Kenneth Murray, you can't do this stuff, man. It's August 7th. Like you can't have this happening over and over and over again. Probably reflects poorly on Schottenheimer, if we're being honest. Ferguson stayed out there, then was like clearly in pain, went back to the locker room. Again, Stephen Jones said he doesn't think it's too bad, but this is certainly worth monitoring because, again, Cowboys are a bit nicked up at corner as well. I don't know if you were ever going to have Jake Ferguson playing very much in the preseason. Schoonmaker's out there. John Stevens is out there. Princeton Fant was a bit nicked up today. Fairweather Neville were all available, but Brevin Spanford's not ready yet from his own high ankle sprain. So tight end also a little bit nicked up. They did give Hunter Lipke some tight end reps. He fumbled on a catch that he had, which was pretty darn disappointing. More to come, but this Cowboys hoodie is still on sale. Was $55. Now it's just $33. Link will be in the comment section and more. So Vaughn returned mostly. He was not in team drills, but was in full pads. So kind of a good element on that front for Deuce Vaughn that he was available, at least in a more limited capacity. We shall see if he's able to go or not, but kind of some TBD on that front. Let's move to Miles Sanders here as well. Is Miles Sanders still not back at practice for the Dallas Cowboys? Hopefully he's able to return in the not too distant future, but does kind of make things kind of get into that question.
It's like, how are these guys injured? I mean, it's been two-hand shove. Yeah, two-hand shove. Deuce has hardly got any reps at all. And like I said, it's been two-hand shove. What the hell? It's like, those guys even get touched by any players? What the fuck?
Mark range of like, hey, is he going to be good to go for the season? Does he make the team? Like, he wasn't a guarantee. There's uncertainty abounds in that backfield. Wanye Thomas, though, was back. He did do team drills. Can be tough to tell from the not field level, like the field level view on the sideline. I think he got beat by Kevontae Turpin for a score, but he did some team drill stuff as he was back from his own injury. Justin Barron did not go. Until we get details on what that injury is, I'm going to have that one circled as, could this be a potential IR stash? Like the Cowboys like him. Damone Clark's done a decent job. Leofau's done a good job. Like, I think it's a tougher path for him to make the roster. They might need a roster spot. It's worth monitoring there. Princeton Fant, also a no-go for the Cowboys with unknown injury. Guessing Barron and Fant got banged up against the Rams. But that, like, bumps and bruises injury list, even though you've only got a couple of guys who might not be available for week one that have gotten hurt at camp, it's a lot of guys that have been banged up. I am tired of all of the Cowboys' injuries. You know, the thing I always gave credit for Mike McCarthy was he was always very good at keeping the guys healthy in terms of, like, the load management was effective. They were pretty healthy overall in weeks. Year one notwithstanding for the most part, and kind of down the stretch, but that was in-season stuff. They were always healthy in camp. If you are tired of the injuries, type me, because I certainly am at this point. Let's go to what Micah Parsons said. Now, Micah Parsons was not present at Cowboys training camp today. Neither, by the way, was Jerry Jones. Neither of those guys were out there available for the Cowboys. A lot of questions going, why? Why are they unavailable? What happened there? What was going on? Like, the deal was happening. Jane Slater, back with the cold water gif, says currently being told nothing is happening. Micah Parsons still at camp. Does not appear any talks behind the scenes were going on. Mike Leslie, WFAA, reported something very similar on that front. So it was it's a noteworthy update there, or non-update. But it also is like, that is very suspicious. Like, it's a change. It's different than what it was previously. Stephen Jones said that Micah Parsons was still with the team. He wasn't at practice today. If Micah were to actually leave training camp, that could actually bring in the nuclear scenario of, like, the Cowboys could toll the contract if he doesn't return within 5 days. It actually would get very, very messy. I don't think that's any intention on the Micah side. It would really concern me if that did happen. Like, I would probably be freaking out, frankly. So Steven just said he was in the facility but wasn't at practice. Nick Harris said something as well just now as I look at my timeline that nothing going on. That does make me go, interesting. Why wasn't Jerry there? I might stand by they were just pooping theory. So does this Micah Parsons update mean anything? Or is it just another example of what we'll do the next 2 weeks of anytime something at all may or may not be happening, we're kind of going to have a bit of a freak out there. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Do you think this update means anything? Y for yes, N for no. Let's go to Joe Milton. Oh, he was healthy. And this is, for me. Because I want to see him in the preseason. I want Joe Milton out there. Threw some bombs again today. That arm strength is impressive. Let's see how he does against a not third-string secondary, because honestly, that's always faced with the Cowboys. Although it is going to be third string for the Rams, but second string for the Rams. But different players. He had the bomb against the Rams, too. I want to see him play in the preseason. Thumb was fine. No issues there. He's going to play a lot on Saturday. Again, we'll be live for that. Make sure you are tuned in. Also of note, and we filmed our initial preseason preview. It's going to go out Friday morning. Then we'll have maybe midday. Saturday morning, we're going to have the players to watch. Jaden Blue's on there, so I don't look stupid. I mentioned the nickel corner battle in that video that's going to go out tomorrow. Zion Childress, I think I slept on him too much. Kind of get the vibe they want to keep DeRon Bland on the outside. And for the preseason, I'm sure they will if he even plays at all. But Kamon Hall, Israel Mukuamu, Zion Childress got some reps with the ones today. That's the undrafted free agent. That's why I don't like the cornerback room in general. But that is a name we probably need to pay a little bit more attention to as we move forward.
All right. Shout out to Tom Downey there. Yeah, Saturday is going to be interesting. I mean, because we already know how the Cowboys are. They don't want to play starters, but it's like, and I'm basically mentioning the running backs because it's like, it's not like Williams is Zeke. It's not like Sanders is Zeke, and Sanders ain't even here. So Sanders is banged up. Blue's banged up. If Williams gets a handful of, and then what's it going to be? The guy after Blue and Lupke? That's it? Are we going to only do like 3 running backs Saturday? Well, you got to understand, Williams runs with power, and the other guy we drafted runs with power. But I mean, hey, we can do the dump offs and the speed backs. I mean, yeah, we got too many running backs. that's just me. I would have rather had Rico and then the drafted guys. Boom. But anyway, that didn't happen. Ferguson banged up. Will we see more tight ends Saturday than we normally would? Which we probably not see much of Fergie anyway. I can't see them overplaying Schoonmaker Saturday. So that's going to be interesting. Who all we see at tight end, who all we see at running back. Yeah. So, Saturday's going to be interesting. All right, guys. We got an hour and 20 minutes show in. Thank y'all. And now I'm caught up. And go Cowboys. Go Cowboys. Like, share, subscribe. And, pay Micah. Stop being an asshole, Jerry Jones. Pay Micah. And it looks like Mozzie Smith is okay. That's good. Now we just got to wait to wait to hear up on Fergie and Blue. And let's hope that they are okay. Go Cowboys, go Cowboys, go Cowboys. Fuck Philly. Fuck the refs. And all that good stuff. Go Cowboys, America's team. Thank y'all. Talk soon.